Okay, well, we're live. Just gonna wait for a few people. Greetings, 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 greetings. Just gonna wait for a few people to come on in the room. Just gonna wait for a few people to come on in the room. We're gonna talk about this $250 million that the United States of America just gifted. And how many people know about this, and how come nobody's talking about it? How come we're not talking about it? Especially considering it's election time. How come nobody's talking about it? I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Have you heard anybody talk about it? Is anybody talking about the fact that we're not asking for anything in this election, that we're turning around, we're fighting one another, we're fighting one another as always, fighting and throwing each other under the bus, like always. And in the meantime, and in between time, well, they have us focused on P. Diddy, and they have us focused on fighting back and forth over red and blue. And meanwhile, they just told the elders, our elders in our community, who are the sole survivors of the Tulsa massacre, that they don't deserve no money. They just told them that they don't deserve any money. But do y'all know that on September the 5th, 2024, that your United States of these Americas just gifted $250 million to Belize to rebuild their educational system and for renewable energy. Now, if you've been watching me, you know my spirit's been leading me to go to Belize for quite some time. Actually, it started in 2017. But now my urge to want to go and want to visit is even more so. And now I'm laughing because I'm like, okay, what's the Trojan horse all about? Because they have something, they just don't gift $250 million without wanting to do something. Well, what they just did, 80% of it is going to the educational system. Think about that. 80% is going to the educational system. So does this mean now that the same type of history and stuff that they've been teaching us and the things that they have been giving us is now going to give them? So in other words, they're getting ready to bring all of their textbooks and all of their Western everything over there. And sooner or later, they're going to start telling them, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. And when that happens, and by the time that happens, I will hopefully have been cashed out. And it'll be time for me to return to the motherland. So, I talk about healing, everything that from my heart in our community has to do with healing our community. And so it hurts to continually watch our community do the same thing over and over and fall for the same things over and over again. And the lack of unity and the fact that we are so broken and the African American families are so broken. And you can't tell me that they're not, because I do the work. Not only do I do the work, I'm a living witness of the family being broken, not just other people's family, my own family, my own children, my friends' children, to the point where our kids are snapping and they're pulling out guns and they're shooting us. And meanwhile, we're fighting, but we're not asking for anything to be brought to the table. So a part of healing is that we need to stop all this fighting back and forth and to come together and to realize what must we do and what should we be demanding of this country to do for us. And I suggest, because I'm not just about talking, but what about this? Just let's think about this. Let's start with them rebuilding or giving us the finances to rebuild Black Wall Street in every state and city that they actually came and destroyed our economic structures. Now, if you think about that, if we just demand that, there's 50 states, whatever, I mean, add Hawaii and all these other stuff. Anyways, if we just start with 8 of the places that we know we had economic success, and you replace that, do you not understand that that means that is replacing our hospitals, that is replacing our schools, that is replacing our transportation services, that is replacing our airports, that is replacing all of the housing and all of the houses? And then the second thing that we need to say is that not another person of African American descent born here on this land should pay another tax. How can you ask a people to pay tax that you owe? And so, because we are so lost in the sauce with everything that they give us, that we don't see clearly that the one thing that they do not want us to do is actually unified. So they keep us divided on everything. And even things that we don't even, little things like sports. And we don't really look at that's division. Oh, I'm from this team and oh, I'm from that team. It's still division. We look at politics. It's division. We look at spirituality. It's division. Everything is to divide us and to keep us at one another's throat so that we can't remember who we are. Because the last time we actually stood together and the last time we actually had leaders in the community that did not all agree spiritually, and I'm going to keep saying this because we're not getting it. So I'm going to keep saying it. The reason why that we were able to be successful is even though we had different beliefs and different people in the community, from the Muslims to the Christians to the Moors, even though we had all these different people in the community, the leaders knew how to come together and say, listen, nobody got to get on that bus. Nobody's going to get on that bus. And because we were in a certain radius, we were able to function and unify. And when we did that, we sunk the economical structure. And that's why we got the things that our ancestors got. And that's why our ancestors were able to build. So what is the one thing? What is the thing that our ancestors had that we don't have? Even though we're in a better place, we have more educational people, we have more people, intellectuals, we have more people with finances, we have more millionaires, we have more of everything that we need that our ancestors didn't have. But yet we have built nothing. Yet we have built nothing. And how long have we been in this country? We have not rebuilt anything. Why? Why haven't we? Because of fear tactics, and because they have taught us how to not like each other, how to not respect each other. They drill it in our heads for music. They drill it in our heads for music. They drill it in our heads on TV shows and programs. We don't get along. Even those women that are supposed to be boss chicks that get all the money and got all the red bottoms and got all the materialistic stuff. When you see them on TV, that's not true sisterhood. But our daughters don't know this. The ones that are coming up now, they don't know that these are all plants. That sexy red, that's a plant into our community. In my generation, as we start to get older, if nobody's coming back and nobody's saying, hey, listen, we better remember who we are, then it will be just like the lion in the zoo. The lion is the king of the jungle. If you go to Africa right now today, you'll see our brothers and sisters walking with the lions. They didn't have to put them in no zoo. The lions, the monkeys, the orangutans, the giraffes, the elephants, the zebras, they roam free. And our people roam free. And you can actually take tours where our brothers will walk you with the lions. And you can walk with the lions. Because the brothers know who they are, the lions know who they are. And then here comes this European that says, oh, I gotta save. And they take the lions, the tigers, the bears, and they put them in this fake habitat. And don't you think that the first lions fought and fought and fought? And what happened? They would get shocked, they would get whipped, something, to the point where they finally cowered down. And so now they're having their babies in this fake habitat, and their babies are clawing at, trying to get out the fake habitat. And here comes mother. No, 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 no. Why? Because mother and father remember the harsh treatment. Father and mother remember the pain of what it was like when they tried to escape. So they dumb their child down, and the next thing you know, a generation goes, and another generation, and now they forgot that they actually are supposed to roam free. Generations don't remember who they are. So the cubs now believe that this fake habitat is what it is. They don't know no better. They don't know that they're not supposed to be in this fake habitat. They don't know that they have so much more potential, because mother and father have showed them how to cower down and to bend down. And that's exactly what has happened to us as a people. Out of fear of what would happen if we stood up face to face and toe to toe. What would happen, the fear of being skinned alive, the fear of being hung, the fear of being whipped almost to an inch of your life, the fear of having parts of your body cut off. For every time one of our brothers or sisters tried to run and they tried to escape out of the fake habitat because they remembered we came from our own kingdom. No, I don't want to be equal. I want to go home. I used to have my own kingdom. I have my own morals. I have my own life. I don't want to be here. Our ancestors fought, and those that fought got limbs cut off, got dragged alive between two horses. And so what do you think that does now to the mother, now that they're having more children? You tell them, don't do that. Don't talk back. Don't sass. You smile in their face. And in the next generation, and now we have what we have now, a generation coming up that don't know who they are, that have no true identity, and believe that this American culture, all this Puff Daddy stuff, and all these celebrity things that they have said, these are the people that speak for your community. I don't know who told them this, but this is what they decided, and they put in our people. We bought it. The next generation, they bought it. And that's why people are so like, oh my God, about Puffy and the music industry and all this. It's been going on for centuries and decades. The only difference now is they got beside themselves. And the difference now is they're going to take down a whole bunch of people and not just one person. And so for all those people that are Anglo-Saxon, European, who hung out and married them black folks and were so cool with them black folks, they're going to be exposed because guess what? The real true elite, the Clives and all of them that got the money, that taught our brothers how to do this stuff, who taught our brothers how to do this stuff, these behaviors, they're going to be just like they did in 1968 when we were marching and trying to sit at tables. We had white allies. We've always had white allies. And what happens? They will kill them right along beside of us. They will take them out right alongside of us because they don't care about you, because as far as they're concerned, you done mixed breeds and you done did all this stuff. So you just as dirty as we are in their eyes. And that's why now you're going to see a whole lot of people falling, because they've already 86, all of them. All of them. So I don't know, but my brothers and my sisters, we need to pay attention. We need to really stop tripping on each other. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Stop looking at everything that they're doing. I said something's going on in the background. Why? Because they don't have any other tricks. They recycle the tricks. I'm 56, almost 57. I done seen some things cycle a few times. And that's how I knew our community was in trouble. That's why I said, let me forget corporate America. Let me go back to my community and let me help our daughters, because I seen the setup a long time ago. And so what are we back to? What are we asking for? Because they just gave $250 million to Belize. But yet they will tell us there's no money for us. They can't help us. They don't know what to do. They paid everybody back, even with our native brothers. They have casinos, they have land, they work some type of deal out. No, they don't have the best deal, but they work something out and they got something. We've got nothing. No land, no casinos, no nothing. Nothing. And yet we have been here. We have fought in every war. We have helped contribute more than anybody else, any other nationality, not by choice, by force, but regardless of the fact we did. We have fought in every single war. And of course, they put us on the front line and then came home and said, you're not going to get what we're going to give our other soldiers. They have been messing us over since forever. And now they have the nerve, and y'all have the nerve to sit out here and argue over a damn election that they have not brought nothing to the table. And y'all are fighting against each other. Black folks fighting against black folks. But nobody asking for anything. And meanwhile, they write in checks. $250 million, a gift. Does Flint have water? Clean water yet? Where's ours? And when are we going to come together and ask for it and stop letting them walk all over us and stop allowing them to put the little things, the little things carrot in our face and give us nothing in return? And be happy to write a $250 million check to a whole nother country to help them. Meanwhile, rates are going up. And I tell people, it shouldn't just be African Americans who are upset about this. I ride for me because that's who my people is. This is my first community. However, any American nowadays that can't pay their rent because of the way that they keep going up with rents, anybody that's paying working paycheck to paycheck, that can't take a vacation, that's struggling for real, should be upset. Anybody that you ride down the street and your car is being jacked up because of all the potholes should be upset. Look at our school system and our educational system. Well, our kids are over here blowing each other away like this is the thing to do. You are sending money across seas to help another educational system. What about getting it together here? And what about updoing the educational system? Because out of all the technology that we have, our educational system is still horrible. But yet we believe that we're the number one and stuff. China would run circles around our children. Africa will run circles around our children and do. Not to say that we don't have a whole bunch of intelligent people. I'm talking to you go into a classrooms right now today and you put our kids up against kids in China and you put our kids up against kids in Africa. All you got to do is look online and you can see the difference where our children's heads are, where they're going. They can dance. They know how to shake their butts. And this is the future. And everybody's okay with it. And nobody's asking for anything. Instead, we're fighting over what? Over Trump and Kamala. Where's the package for us? Where's our relief? Where is the budget for us that have been here, that have bled, that have died, that have sacrificed, that have been completely, utterly discombobulated by your system? But yet we have been here and we enhance your system. We enhance your system and we bring trillions of dollars into this company, then it is a company. United States is a company. And we bring trillions of dollars in. So where's our package? What are y'all fighting over? Why are y'all divided, but not asking for anything that would actually unify us and get us back to some place where we might have a even stake? So what should we be asking for since we don't know what to ask for? Let's start with saying, let's rebuild and give us the money to rebuild every place Black Wall Street was. That means we will now have hospitals. We'll now have our own schools. We'll have our fire departments, our police departments, our houses, all of it. All of it. But we are so busy selling to each other. We are so busy trying to be the next guru. We are so busy trying to be like our oppressor. And we're not being like our ancestors who were more like God. Our ancestors that knew how to come together, strategically put it at the table, go back to their own corners and pray to whomever they pray to and come back together with the strength to do all that fighting for us to look the way we are today. We should be ashamed of ourselves. The strength, the beauty, the resilience, the level of what it took, the intelligence. And guess what? None of our elders, when they first came, were college graduates. None of our elders were involved in their school system and their politics. They were about their own business. It was unfortunately the division, the mistake. The more money they got, the more they started to act like master. And then all this, the division, and it's really hurt us. And the only way for us to heal is for us to come back to the table with real leadership. All the different leaders that have people need to come together. They need to stop coming together to debate, to try to recolonize one another into each other's tribes. Come together and let's get strategic. Come together and understand that we have more things in common and that we are looking for more of. Has my camera been off this whole time? Hold on, y'all. I didn't realize. Sorry, I didn't realize, y'all, that y'all couldn't see me this whole time. I apologize over on TikTok. Sorry, y'all. Hey, hi. Here I am. But yeah, we need to come together, not to debate. We need to finally say, you know what? We have all this history. We have Kemetic history. We have, Hebrew history. We have Moor history. We have Muslim history. We have Christian history. We have all these different histories. And let's assign it. This is your tribe. Each tribe has their rules, their regulations, their spirituality. And be okay with that so that we can come to the table and stop trying to colonize each other. Come to the table and we can actually say, this is the things that we need in our community. So now guess what? You can have your Muslim school and you can teach your Muslim children. And guess what? You can have your Hebrew school and you can teach your Hebrew children. And you can have your Kemetic school and you can teach your Kemetic children. And we're all going to stay to where we need to stay. We're not going to try to cross and try to tell you what you need to do. And I'm not even in your tribe. You keep the discipline for those that come into your tribe and you have that respect. And if we would just start there, we would get a whole lot further. We would be a whole lot further if we would just start there, if we would just heal in that and say, okay, we come from many different tribes. We always have. None of us know the whole truth of who we are. None of us. None of us know the whole truth of, everything our ancestors did. None of us do. I don't care how much studying you have done. Nobody understands the mind of divinity. None of us are that pure. None of us are that damn holy. Especially nowadays. So therefore, why don't we come to an agreement and say, instead of hurting one another, I see your walk? Because when you serve Allah, I see the type of man you are. I see the type of woman you are. I see how you raise your kids. I see how you raise your spouse, how you love your spouse, how you are one, how the family has this unit of morals and just the beauty of who taking care of the elders and taking care of the strangers and the orphan children. I see you, my Hebrew brother, doing that. My Muslim brother, I see you taking care of your household. I see you taking care of your children. I see you taking care of the young men in the community. I see you. I see the good in you. I see the God in you. My conscious brothers and sisters, I see you. I see the good in you. I see what you're out there doing for the community. And I can respect that. Because if we start looking at each other from that lens, that is a healing lens. That is a healing lens instead of a lens of hatred, instead of a lens that pretends that I love you. And this is why I'm telling you this. But in all actuality, it's really my ego that won't allow me to hear you, and it won't allow you to hear me, is your ego. And this is why we've gotten nowhere. And this is why they can play in our face and do all this, acting like the election and all this stuff. And then meanwhile, cut a check for $250 million behind your back to a whole nother country. But meanwhile, sit up here and tell you, no Black women, you cannot come together and give funding for only Black women. No, you can't do. We will take you to court and we will stop everything. Because that's what they just did to the Fearless Fund and wrap them sisters up for over a year. You can't give money. But why did we need to create the Fearless Fund? Because they're not funding Black organizations for Black organizations in this country. As a person who has a 501c3, who just did a whole presentation last week on my findings of Black leaders, survivor leaders, women that have gone through things and are now working in the stead to come back and to help the women in our community that are going through it right now currently, how we got through. It's very difficult for us to get funding, but they will fund other organizations to come into our community and try to tell our community, okay, this is, and they got their books and they got all their healing stuff that they got, and they're trying to come in and teach, and it's not us, and it should be, and it should be the elders teaching, and that connection needs to be there. And this is why we're so disconnected, because we are so discombobulated. There's no order, there's no flow. But who we truly are, when you take off the Western culture, we are all about tribal. We are all about family. We are all about unity. So we've got some things wrong, my brothers and sisters. It is okay to be who you are spiritually. It is okay, because I'm going to look at your character. I don't care about your title. There are people walking around today with all types of titles that have not the spirit of true love, a bone in their body. There are people that are walking around today with titles and with man-given mantles out here hurting people, out here hurting people. And there's no greater hurt than spiritual hurt. To finally find that place where it gives you strength, where it gives you that strength to keep going, and have somebody come in and demonize you over that after all that you've been through, all of your trauma that you've been through, and you finally find your secret place, and you're changing, and you're changing, and you're feeling great, and you meet other people, and y'all are doing what you need to do, and you're changing, you're adapting. You can see your language is changing, your clothes is changing, your mindset's changing. You become somebody with a knife or a gun in your community from out of their mouths or keyboards, hurting one another. It's time to heal. So I invite you to continue to come with me, continue to hear what we're doing, reach out, because in 2025, we are doing nothing but healing retreats, and more healing retreats. Continue to watch me. We have 7 days. Tomorrow makes 7 days till surgery. Keep me in your prayers. And yeah, I'm going to get off of this stream now on Facebook and Rike's YouTube. Please like, share. I don't really market right now. I'm still getting the bugs out and getting used to coming on. But soon enough, I will, press the button to share a little bit more. Currently, I come on live on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 6 and 6:30, and Sundays on Clubhouse. If you ever want to talk back to me, Clubhouse between 11 and 11:30. I'm normally on Clubhouse on Sundays. My name is Arike. I was born Michelle Alice Broadnax. I am decolonizing. In 2020, I was renamed by the Ifa Benjo tribe in West Africa, the Yoruba tribe, after doing my DNA from African ancestry and finding out that I was 98% Yoruba. And these are all by names and words. I know that, but it is what it is. And so I was renamed. I started transitioning people to Arike last year and saying Arike Michelle, just to get people used to saying Arike. In 2025, I will no longer have the Michelle on my name. I will be Arike Ifa Benjo, Ifa Bume. And I've already written up my legal paperwork to change my name. I'm just waiting for Spirit to tell me when it's time. So yeah, I'm on a journey. I'm here with purpose. I shouldn't be here. Technically speaking, I should not be here after all that I went through. September 29th, 2023, when my friend's son tried to unalive me. And I was reading my medical charts yesterday as I prepare for my surgery to put my insides back together again, and realized I had a blood transfusion and a few heart attacks and just a lot. Like, I am a miracle walking. And one reason I know absolutely that I'm here is because I've always had a vision since I was young. And that vision now is getting ready to come to pass. That is my assignment. That's why I'm here on earth. And I want to just remind you that while we're here with all this worldly stuff, to remember that you were born for a purpose, and that purpose has nothing to do with all these politics. That purpose has nothing to do with so many things that we're distracted by. That purpose has everything to do with finding what your purpose is. What is your divine reason for being selected to be born? What assignment do you have in making your way back to that? And the way that we do that is through purifications. And this is why the name of my company is Purifications. Purifications to cleanse something, ceremonially cleanse something and return it back to its original state. International, because we need to come from all over. An enterprise. Economics. Can't do it without economics. So enterprise, grassroots economics, things that are coming from us, books that we're creating, curriculum that we're creating, things that we can do to help one another collaborate effectively so that we can be funded, and that we will be funded, and that we can make our own finances and not have to rely on any funding from anybody, because we're doing the synergy amongst one another the same way our ancestors did when they built Black Wall Street. And so that's it. Okay, y'all, have a wonderful rest of your evening. From my heart to yours. Remember, like I always say, we don't need permission to build. We don't need permission to heal. All we need is respect for one another's differences and to come together and unify. Take a chapter out of the book of our own ancestors and see how they built Black Wall Street. And then come together and demand this country to restore and repair every Black Wall Street. That is the least that they can do for us, is to give us back every Black Wall Street that they destroyed in this country. Again, that means our hospitals, our stores, our housing, our schools, our airports. We need to stop focusing on them and their stuff and come together, look at our ancestors, and we need to heal. And it starts with healing. Because once you heal, you don't have to look at your brother and sister with disgust. And oh, could you imagine what we could do if we would just heal together? From my heart to yours, have a beautiful rest of your evening, and I will talk with you all again soon. Good night.